From what I remember, the strongest thing that he can really kind of clap from is that he did survive a fall from the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's really the best thing I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember that it wasn't him, but obviously Naruto and others were getting zapped by lightning and shit like that. And
Mm-hmm.
they didn't die, but they got one shotted. Like once they get hit by lightning. But our boy Lee, like Rock Lee, he didn't get one shotted. Like Naruto get hit by lightning once, done. But Rock Lee was like zap, 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 zap. So
Yeah.
that's probably a younger age, you know.
Yeah, that's definitely like the younger Sasuke. But like post like, at the very end of the series Sasuke.
Mm.
How do you think how strong he is?
I just yeah. At the end of the day, like the strongest thing that I remember is that like I said, this is young Sasuke is like lightning strikes. Like that was the most impressive thing that I saw, and that's just
Mm-hmm.
obviously my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You
But
know,
if
but
yeah, yeah.
I don't know like anything more impressive than him getting zapped by lightning. Or I shouldn't say he didn't even get zapped by lightning, but I know
Mm-hmm.
Naruto and all them are comparable to him. So like it's I really don't have a lot.
I mean, we can always scale him to Naruto because he managed to actually keep up with Naruto.
Yes,
And this was
that's
both,
yes.
yeah, because at some point, Sasuke, because they both had a clash with their strongest attacks. Because Sasuke had a move called the Indra's Arrow, which is his strongest attack, and he also achieved the entirely perfect Susanoo. But the only reason he did that was because he managed to absorb the power of the tail beast that he captured after defeating Yagura, which obviously they're not going to give him because that's outside help. But even without that, he was still able to keep up with Naruto and even his tail beast cloak form. Like he was literally he was literally holding his own against three clones uh of Kurama, his tail beast. And as we know, like they're pretty much on equal power, especially if it's just three clones. He's managed to hold them off all by himself. So during that fight, he had the upper hand. So if we're gonna scale him to Naruto, then Naruto's pretty fucking durable. So in that regard, because keep in mind his Susanoo also counts as his defense. Like it shrouds him and also protects him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we need to keep in mind too. It's not just his straight durability, but he has a lot of defensive options with his Sasano. And if and there's a thing called one react one something has an equal opposite reaction of some shit. How much you could put out is how much you can take. If
Mm-hmm.
Sasuke is pretty much like planetary level, or not planetary level, like moon level, then his Susanoo full powered could probably take a very big hit
Yep.
if that helps at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to me, like what I've witnessed whenever I've watched Naruto, and this is my opinion, is that they
Mm-hmm.
kind of seem like glass cannons because they're ninja, but like every time I see them, it's like I said, remember I've been watching, like I'm behind, and
Mm-hmm.
like the one saga that every time they got zapped by lightning, the only person that was able to like body it and keep fighting was Rock Lee.
Yeah.
Everybody else got zapped by lightning once they were done. I'm not saying that ain't impressive because they survived it at least, but
Mm-hmm.
they weren't able to stand up after it either though. So
That
like
that's fair enough.
that's kind of like where I'm at. Like I was like, well, I need something more impressive than that. I'm not seeing anything more impressive than that. I'm not saying it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
exist. What I'm saying is like presented in front of me. I'm not seeing it.
No, that's fine. I'm just going on based on what I remember that Sasuke's able to take, and I'm just doing kind of a bit of power scaling because he's probably the only character that could probably scale to Naruto. He definitely scales to Madara because Madara was able to like slash five mountains in a single slash with a Sasano. And like I said, if he could put out that kind of power, he more than likely can take it, especially when it's in his Sasano form. But there's another thing we need to look at is endurance. He has a lot of endurance, and he like it says right here, he literally got his arm cut off and he was able to fight. I don't know how long that fight actually lasted, but if you have one arm and you're bleeding out and you're still able to go, that's a lot of endurance. And as far as endurance, that Sasuke, I remember, like at some point after he found out the truth about Itachi, he wanted to destroy the leaf. He went to the Five Kage Summit and try to fight all of them. And they beat the shit out of him, but he was still able to keep going, especially after the fight Danzo. And keep in mind, Naruto Sasuke was already weakened at this point. Like his eye was bloody, like he was beat up. Especially when he's using his Susanoo at the time, because if he described using his Susanoo at that time, his cells were hurting and burning. Like he was in a lot of pain. Like his body, he really couldn't take another fight. Granted, he did have his friend with her, Karin, because she's a healer, so he did have her. But at the same time, that's kind of a lot of endurance to even keep going. So even after he defeated Danzo, Naruto came and Kakashi came, and he was able to fight them, and then that's kind of where the fight ended. So we also have to take in consideration their endurance as well. So it seems like they both are pretty, granted, while Sasuke did had his friend to heal him when he need be, he still lasted quite a while, as impressive as he did. But in terms of durability, this is kind of a tricky one too. I'm not sure, because one of these characters that Hiei can do says he can punch with the force of a nuke. And I know to slash mountains in half, to slash 5 mountains will require that same level of power. And if Sasuke Susanoo can take that even more, I'm gonna say they're even. That's just what I'm basing this on. Does that make sense?
I totally understand where you're coming from.
What are you not understanding?
I didn't say I understand. I said I completely understand what you're saying. I didn't disagree with
you.
No.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said you didn't understood. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, no. I specifically said I hear where you're coming from, man. I understand what you're saying. Like
yeah.
Like there's a lot of argument there with Kaguya. This is a guy that like wipes out dimensions.
It's technically a girl, but yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, it shouldn't wipe out dimensions. She just like travels between dimensions, and that's what she's been doing with their fight in Naruto and Sasuke. But yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, one can say that he has durability to that level. I'm like, I don't know, like it kind of seems like a huge leap to go from just random planetary to like dimensions. Like that's a huge leap. Do you know what I mean? It's like you can get punched in the face by like some little kid, then all of a sudden like and your nose bleeds, but then like it's almost like ki level or chakra level can be like rise. Like I'm very confused. Like in my opinion, Naruto is such a broken, inconsistent power scaling world.
Yeah.
And so I really have to kind of put it up to Death Battle to kind of explain how they perceive it. That's my opinion. How I really how I feel. It doesn't mean I'm right, but this is how I feel with everything that's going on.
That's understandable. So I guess that kind of wraps it up for that. So I guess we should really go over their abilities. So I guess in terms of their abilities, because like I said, they both have fire-based abilities. For Hiei, he has one of his strongest moves called the Dragon of Darkness Flame, Master of the Black Dragon, the Sword of Flames, which he engulfs his broken sword into the flame from the Black Dragon, the Fist of the Mortal Flame, which is basically just a normal fire punch. And that's pretty much. And he also has a sword that apparently can mind control people if you slash them in the forehead.
Oh. Did it get dropped? Yeah, everybody. Yeah, sorry about that. Apparently we went dry there or whatever. Oops, phrasing. We just I don't know. Anyways, you're back on here, Ivan, and go ahead.
So, like I was saying before, I was just mentioning Hiei's sword, which as far as I remember, if he slashes you in the forehead, he can pretty much mind control you with his power of the Jigenai. And apparently, in order for that person to go back to normal, is to use the sword itself, like to pop it open and then drink the water. So that's kind of the gist of what Hiei's sword can do. While Sasuke's sword, on the other hand, is really just a traditional, normal, Nodachi sword. I don't think it's an Odachi, but it's another name for it. But anyway, it's really nothing special. But what I do know is Sasuke, when he uses his Chidori, he can use it to amplify its cutting power of his normal sword. And he's been able to cut through all sorts of swords. So there is a potential for Sasuke with his Chidori can cut through Hiei's sword. There's that potential. You can call me up, and you guys can call me on that.
Yeah, what I would say at that point is the strongest feat I remember Sasuke, and for the record, guys, I over this last few weeks I tried binging as much on Naruto as I can to get really caught up. but some things already have been spoiled for me just because you just hear it randomly, right? Is that our boy Sasuke and Naruto are pretty well. Everyone can pretty much say they're kind of like Goku and Vegeta. They're so close in a scale method, so it's almost like if Naruto can do it, Sasuke can do it too, ish. But Naruto always has like that slight edge, kind of like Goku and Vegeta. It seems. So with that being said, cutting the moon is like, one of the biggest feats I've seen. They either cracked it or they sliced it in half. I can't.
It was cut in half.
Yeah, exactly. So that right there, pretty much in my eyes, makes him moon busting material. Other than that, I can't think of anything higher. I'm sure something has, and I'm sure someone's going to educate me, and I appreciate that. But I would say that's his highest feat. And as far as faster than light goes, I haven't seen. I don't know. Go ahead though. Finish up what you're saying.
I mean, it would be feasible, like I said, even if Sasuke is slower than Hiei, his Sharingan is going to be able to track him down, because that's what the Sharingan can do. You can pretty much like track everything, no matter how fast you are. These eyes can read them, as Sasuke, would put it. So, and I'm pretty sure he is comparable to that kind of speed.
I think that's more of a bluff coming out of his mouth, though, because he's like, no matter what, my eyes can track you. But then Naruto takes him. Later on, Naruto starts actually whooping his ass. So if his eyes were that good, it's either his eyes are faster, but his body isn't, or his eyes do have limitation.
That's true.
You know what I mean? It's like, which one? You know what I mean? Like,
you're right. You're right.
You know what I mean? Like, especially like, for instance, when someone like throws something at you and you see it coming, but like you can't dodge it. Like, you have that like eighth of a second in your mind, like, oh, boom! You know what I mean? Like you see it coming, but you can't. Like paintball's a good example. I see paintballs fly. I actually can dodge paintballs, and they fly at like 200, 300 miles per hour. I literally did a Matrix thing where people shot at me, and I would sit there and dodge them. That's how I practiced for paintball. I used to wear the paintball mask at the gym and run an hour a day on the treadmill. People would come in there and I have this fucking paintball mask on. Not the one I play with, but like my training one. I bought like a basic shitty one that was very heavy and like I could barely breathe. So I had to breathe through that mask, which is hard. And then the day comes, I would wear the mask that I actually built fans in it. I actually zip-tied fans in my paintball mask.
Really?
It was ace. Yeah. I'll actually show you it. I turn it on. It's like, like, yeah, boy. Everyone got jealous right away. But when the day came, I could fucking run like 5 miles with it on. Half the people I'm playing with are out of breath by the time they even run down the the little path. I was fucking jumping, flying. I took out like, dude, I was crazy back in the day, man. Telling you. But anyways, I digress though. My point was,
No, that's fine. And you're absolutely right, because the only reason Naruto was able to catch him because he pretty much is capable of matching Sasuke's speed. He could pretty much Naruto can pretty much move as fast as Sasuke's eye perception. That's pretty much why if he wasn't in Naruto, I mean Sasuke wasn't able to speed blitz Naruto or kind of counter, because they were both pretty much even. He was so fast that even a Sharingan can't really catch him. Like even just enough, but like not so where it's not like what's that word where you like see the shit around you?
I don't know. Blind
clairvoyance.
Okay.
Clairvoyance. It's not like that, but I see what you mean. You're absolutely right. So, but I think there is a chance that because he is extremely fucking fast to the point where he can after image. So, having that information now, there is a chance that he could at best keep up with him, but.
The problem is after image isn't even an impressive feat, to be honest. I've actually looked it up. It's not that fast. It's only like for instance, the rims on your car have an after image. If you notice when people drive, it almost looks like your wheels are spinning backwards.
Yeah, that's true.
You're only going like 30, 40 miles per hour. But the tires, though, are spinning, like 6,000 RPM. So they're spinning 6,000 times a second. So, like, when you translate all of that, what the speed the tires are going, the tires are going thousands of miles per hour in theory, right? They're spinning that fast, 6,000, that's why hence 6,000 RPM, rounds per minute. Like, when you really do that up, it's only about 30 or 40 miles per hour. So when you calculate that at the end of the day, you're not going faster even than the speed of lightning. So
that's
even
true.
after limits, like, you're not. Like, you're just not. So it's one of those things that when people say after image, I'm like, don't get me wrong. Like, if a human can do that running, I would think that is impressive. But at the end of the day, it's like when we're talking right now, speed and stuff like that, it's not really as fast as we think it is.
No, I completely agree with you. I completely agree. And if that's the case, then Sasuke is definitely be able to track him down. He's definitely going to be able to, even with a Sharingan, he's going to be able to, track him down, even if Sasuke isn't as fast as he is. So you're absolutely right in that regard. I completely agree with you on that. Now,
Mm-hmm.
another thing I want to talk about is Sasuke's Amaterasu and Hiei's Dragon of Darkness Flames. Because for those who don't know, the Amaterasu, which is probably the most powerful fire attack that Sasuke can do, it's safe to burn through anything it touches for 7 days and 7 nights and
Woo!
nothing can extinguish it unless
Woo!
only Sasuke is able to extinguish it. And as far as I know, Hiei's Dragon of Darkness Flame attack can incinerate anything it touches, just like the
Damn.
Amaterasu.
Damn.
So my thing is, if they're for that conclusion, I think that's kind of going to cancel each other out. But his Dragon of Darkness Flame has enough power to destroy half an entire arena. That's a lot of power. So
Mm-hmm.
my thing is like, will it be able to overpower his Amaterasu? Because keep in mind, when Sasuke fought Itachi uses his Amaterasu to completely burn away Sasuke's own fire style attack. Like it
Mm-hmm.
was so strong it burns other flames, as Death Battle matches in Naruto and Nichigo. But he is Dragon of Darkness Flames isn't no ordinary fire. It's demonic in nature. So I'm not sure if it'll be able to cut through or they'll cancel each other out. I have no clue how that'll work. But another thing about Hiei's Jigenai is one of his strongest abilities kind of requires it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it says somewhere here. You have to give me a moment, please.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think you're doing a really good job, man.
Yeah, thanks,
So,
man. But yeah, go ahead. You want to say something?
oh yeah, yeah. So right now we're going off of still abilities, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, with the Sharingan and stuff like that. So
yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like I'm kind of ready to make the actual prediction of what it is, but I understand clearly that you're definitely explaining a lot more stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that,
hmm
you know.
No, I completely understand. Like I just wanted to add a few more points, but then I'll wrap it up. I actually want to mention the last thing I want to mention is the weakness, and his weakness is his Jigenai itself. If that gets damaged, he won't be able to use his psychic powers anymore,
Who
and
is
that can't.
this?
He is.
Okay,
He
so
is.
he does have a weakness, and what is it?
And that's his eye itself, the Jigenai.
So if his
If it get
eye gets poked,
Yeah, pretty much. If he gets damaged anyway, he really can't use his power. And one of his
hmm,
attacks, I don't know if it's the Dragon of Darkness Flames or one of his stronger abilities, it requires the Dragon Eye. It requires it. So I think it requires it just as a means of controlling it. But without it, he'll just lose control. At least that's kind of what I vaguely remember reading. But with that eye, he's able to control that attack. So without that eye, he's not gonna be able to use his psychic powers. He's not gonna be able to do the shit he does, and he's not going to be able to use that fire type attack. But another thing is, he is actually resistant to fire type attacks. So I don't know if, and because of that, I don't even know if Sasuke's Amaterasu will be able to work on Hiei because he's fire resistant. But like I said, Amaterasu burns anything it touches for like 7 days. So
hmm,
take that as you will. But based on that information, he probably could resist the Amaterasu. But at the same time,
yeah,
I'm not truly sure because Amaterasu is no ordinary fire.
exactly.
So yeah, so that's one thing. That's one advantage Sasuke can I can see him beating Hiei if he can take out that Jigenai. Then he's gonna be screwed because he's pretty much like it won't like oh shit, I'm starting so much. It won't like cripple Hiei to the point where he won't be able to fight ever. He'll still be able to fight, but he'll be severely crippled. You know what I mean? He'll
Hmm.
be like he'll be vulnerable to that attack. But as far as I know, that's kind of which is what I wanted to bring up. So if you want, we can just make our verdict right now.
I would say at that point we did cover speed, didn't we, as well?
Yeah, we
Kind of
cover speed.
earlier. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So who do you think's gonna win?
This is gonna be super close. Seriously, it's been a long time since I saw Hiei, but Hiei is fucking powerful. So I honestly don't know how this is gonna go based on the advantages. Because I know Sasuke is definitely more versatile. He has a far larger arsenal with his fire style attacks, with his electric Chidori, his Sharingan abilities, his Genjutsu, which I don't think it'll work on here, but
That's my question. Is will he be able to copy the moves? Because he can copy anyone's like chakra moves, right?
yeah, he can.
So does the Tetragen use chakra?
No, it doesn't. It's demonic in nature. It's all
But
demonic. It's
is it
demonic
considered a
energy.
demonic chakra or is just demonic?
I
Period.
don't know.
Blank.
I don't know if it's like demonic spiritual energy, but if it is spiritual energy, Maybe he can, but I'm not entirely
Yeah,
sure.
that's what I'm basing it on. All I'm gonna say is if they count the Sharingan's copy ability as chakra or Tetragen's moves. Sorry, I keep calling him Tetragen because that's what he is in my eyes every time I see him. If that's the case, I'm gonna give it to Sasuke because then he can pretty much use his moves against him if they're, well, I don't know what he could all do, but I guess I heard a big chunk of what you said. But other than that, I think your boy Tetragen's gonna take it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But there's also they have a lot of advantages of another. So if I had to give a verdict, just based on the advantages that Sasuke has, like he has a more larger arsenal, and the fact that he is able to use his Chidori for his sword to like amplify its cutting power, he could easily cut his sword in half, and then that'll be a wrap. But even if he does cut his sword, he still have the dragon of the sword of darkness flames to where he can like make a sword. So that wouldn't be that big of a deal. So this is kind of close. Like if he can disable the Jagan eye, that'll pretty much be a wrap for Hiei. So if he can do that, like he's fast enough that he could probably keep up with Hiei. So I wouldn't be surprised if he could do that.
We also have to remember though that our boy Sasuke, he also bodied Itachi's fire jutsu.
Yes, that's true.
So that right there tells you that he could spit fire, but he's pretty much, I don't want to say he's fireproof, but based on what he's pulled in the past, it almost seems like fire doesn't even work on him.
No, Sasuke can pretty much body it. He has ways to counter because he has the substitution jutsus. He can use
even if he doesn't substitute, but he was literally able to just body it. Like it hit him and it didn't even do anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So like that, at that point, it's like the fire ain't gonna work. It's gonna come down to like straight up. But like Sasuke seems to be kind of more of a. He's not a close up. He uses trickery and technique.
But he is good at close range. He is good at taijutsu, which is like hand-to-hand combat in Naruto. Well, so he can't fight hand-to-hand.
He had to do that because Naruto knew how to get in with all the clones and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but when it comes to his preferred fighting style, he kind of seems to be more like mid to long range preferred. He's like an outer boxer, so to speak, if that makes sense. And Naruto is like a swarmer or a bruiser. You know what I mean? Just always coming in there. That's what just based on what I've witnessed and seen. So
fair enough. So
who do you think's gonna win?
I'm just gonna say because Sasuke has a much broader arsenal. He's a lot of ways to because he has substitutions. It's confirmed that he can use shadow clones, not as much as Naruto, but he is still shadow clones. So he has ways to kind of counter Hiei stuff. So in that regard, I'm gonna say Sasuke just because I can see Sasuke, countering a lot what Hiei can do, and if he can get in close enough to destroy his Jigenai, that could potentially be a wrap for Hiei. But I think this is gonna come down to who's gonna last the longest. And like who's gonna be able to land that blow first?
Oh, if we're talking durability right away, Hiei is gonna take it, right? Is that his name? Tetragen? Sorry.
Hiei.
He's gonna last because what I noticed in Naruto, a lot of them just get one shotted. Like their durability is actually pretty squishy. Minus him bodying fire and stuff, but like when they all got zapped by lightning, that's kind of where I'm at right now. For those of you that know the guy on the mountain that had the little like kid on his back all the time, that man was sending lightning, and Rock Lee was dodging this. That makes Rock Lee faster than lightning. But remember, like I said, that's early. So, like I said, I haven't got to adult Sasuke yet. But my point is that they were all just getting one shot at everybody, except Rock Lee. Like, the dude's a fucking beast. Like, I want to see him take Ranma Saotome. Remember, I told you my favorite anime character of all time. I feel like that would be a good battle.
That would be dope, actually. You're right.
But the problem is Ranma hasn't aged at all, while Rock Lee has. So it's a huge disadvantage probably to Ranma, but I digress.
No, that's fine. And no, I 100% agree with you. There are times, even in Naruto, in Shippuden, with the older versions, where he has one-shot at characters. Like, Naruto one-shotted the pain. Because there were 6 pains, he one-shotted virtually all of them.
Wow. It was like after they whacked his boy.
Or after they whacked him, he literally just one-shotted him with the Rasengan, and that was a wrap. He's known to one-shot a lot of people, and the thing about Naruto is, most of the time, they're glass cannons. Like,
but he's got 9 tails inside of him. That's what gives him that edge, though. I think that's really what makes him do that. But Sasuke has proven, without that privilege of 9 tails, is able to put out damage like him. So that's what makes Sasuke really powerful, too. Like, he doesn't need something to amplify him like Naruto. Naruto was pretty much given fucking power privilege, while Sasuke is just, like, naturally gifted. You know what I mean? He didn't have a fucking demon set inside his belly. You know?
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. That's true because his Susanoo is extremely powerful. Like if we're gonna scale that to Madara's, who would literally able with the Susanoo sword slash 5 mountains in a row, that's a massive amount of power output. That's literally in the megatons, potentially gigatons of power. That's still a lot of power. But there were times that Sasuke kind of had to amplify himself because, like I said in the very beginning, he kind of had to like use the tail beast to try to amplify his own power. But that's only that one time to really kind of get that hit on Naruto. Other than that, he can still keep up with him, even if he doesn't have it. So he has a lot of power output. Another thing, Sasuke too, is his chakra is limited. His chakra is very limited. He can run out of chakra. Well, I don't know if Hiei demonic energy can run out. I'm not sure. If anybody wants to elaborate on that, please do so. But just like his brother Itachi, Sasuke kind of a glass cannon. You know, there's only like he can dish out a lot, but you know, without that Susanoo, there's not much he can take. Because the thing about Itachi is, like, he cannot last long in the battle. He has to wrap it up quickly because he'll gas out soon, and he can get
Itachi,
one shot.
Right?
Yeah, that's Itachi, but and that kind of applies to Sasuke in a way too. Because Sasuke he can get tired out, he can get tuckered out, and he can definitely taken out. And his chakra is limited, so that's another weakness he has. So for Hiei to win, he's gonna have to try to outlast Sasuke. For Sasuke to win, he's gonna have to try to disable his Jiganai and just try to take him out as quickly as he can. So, but for now, until we watch the death battle itself, I'm gonna say Sasuke just because he has a lot more in terms of his arsenal, not just offensive but defensive options. For that reason, I'm gonna go with Sasuke. I could be wrong, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you know, like here's the thing, my heart's with Sasuke because I've never seen YuYu, so I'm biased already. But based on what you told me, I'm gonna go with the Tetragen.
Okay, fair enough.
Calling him that. But anyways, y'all, thank you all for joining that and everything. You know, we're gonna wrap this up, and then we're actually gonna have to go ahead and do the reaction. Sorry this came out so late. Our schedules just kept bouncing. I was gonna have my nephew actually be a part of this. Unfortunately, it didn't work for his schedule. Blah blah blah. If you want to join Hood Nation, all that jazz, you know, right now stuff should be showing up. This is part 2. Make it happen, y'all. Join. Blah blah blah. But you know, if we need a cup of tea, y'all go find it. It's out there.
Believe it. I'm Ivan. That's my boy Nidge, and we'll see you guys in the actual reaction video.
Bye.
Peace. Bye, Felicia.
Until next time, bye, Felicia.